Hey everyone, I'm Valerie Friedlander, certified life coach, core energy practitioner, and founder of The Unlimited Mom. My apologies, my voice is a little scratchy today, and no, it's not because I've been yelling at everybody, it's just because of allergies. But that said, we are going to be talking about relationships today and throughout the course of the month because relationships are one of the really big things that shifts when you become a mom, and that's all of them. Like with your spouse or your partner, with your friends, with yourself, and that's not even talking about like this new little person in your life that you are developing a relationship with. So, we're going to be talking about all of that stuff over the course of the week. I would love to invite you to share in the comments anything that you're struggling with, anything that's working really well for you. I love to utilize those things as I go through. If there's any support that I can provide with what you're working on, or any tools that you have that have worked really well for you. Now, granted, what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for other people. It's really important to know that each relationship in your life is completely unique. You're dealing with two or more totally unique people. You're completely unique. There's no one like you in the world. And that's true of every other person that you have a relationship with. So some things may work, some things may not. This is your life and these are your relationships. So you get to kind of experiment and see what works for you. So we're going to delve into a lot of different things specifically in each week about the different kinds of relationships. But today I just want to talk in general about relationships, especially as a new mom. It's overwhelming, all these changes, and everybody tells you things are going to change, but you don't really get it until you become a mom and things start to shift. And it can be kind of stressful and disappointing and also isolating when you start to feel these things set in where I know for myself, when I became a mom, I wasn't really sure what I was doing, and I had this idea about how I wanted to be, and it wasn't quite matching up with the way things were. And so it was hard to necessarily show that. And I was trying to step into something that I wasn't, and didn't know how to engage with people in an authentic way at that time. I was also bickering a lot with my husband. There's a lot of expectations going on and not the best communication about expectations. So it really challenges all the places where you've got work to do, get challenged, and also buttons get pushed, particularly by this growing little person. Not necessarily quite as much as a baby, but sometimes. And also, there are buttons that you didn't even know you had that show up. I think it's important to remember that all of this is totally normal and you are not crazy. This is something that we all go through. And also to know that if you have a button pushed, it's because you have a button. The cool thing is that it means that this is information that you get to pull from. The kind of annoying thing is that, well, nobody can push a button you don't have. So while you could say, well, you made me feel like this, or you did this to me, that's not entirely accurate. Yes, they contributed, but nobody can push a button you don't have. So know that, own that. And the cool thing, again, is that it means that you get to be responsible. You get to be in charge of that. You get to have the ability to respond by taking a look at what that button is and what it's all about. If that's something that you're struggling with, have somebody to process it with, to help you discern what's going on there, so that you can be less reactive and more proactive in choosing how you engage and how you show up. Which brings me to the second point, which is take a look at those important relationships and know how you want to engage with them. You don't necessarily have to know like exactly what you're going to do, but know what you want in those relationships. How do you want to contribute to those relationships? So, for example, I want to be more loving with my child. I want to be a loving parent. What does it mean to be a loving parent? What does that look like? What does that feel like? So, kind of knowing those things. I want to be a supportive spouse. Okay, what does it mean to be supportive? What things do you do when you're being supportive? How is that received? And we'll talk a little bit more about like love languages and stuff, and the one where we talk about spouse relationships. But knowing what that looks like for you and how you want to engage with that really helps give you a foundation. A lot of us kind of go into autopilot because, hey, we're overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. So it's normal to do that. But when you're ready to take a look and ask yourself, what do you want in this relationship? What do you want out of this relationship? How do you want to contribute to this relationship? Because bottom line, relationships are a give and take. It's not a balanced thing. Every relationship has a different flow to it, but that is the key part of it, is that there is a flow. There's a giving, there's a sharing, there's a supporting, and then there's the take part where you're listening, where you're taking in, where you're hearing what's going on with somebody else. It's always important in those situations where you're really listening to somebody, and even when you're sharing, to know that what you say is about you, but what they hear is about them, and vice versa. What they say is about them, what you hear is about you. So knowing that kind of helps you take it out of the taking it personally. It's really easy to take it personally, and that's like where a lot of buttons get triggered. But when you know that it's not about you, how you're feeling, what you're thinking is totally about you, but the way they're receiving it, the way they're engaging it is about them. So really being clear on that separation, but knowing that the harmony comes in that middle space where all of that stuff intersect. If you know how you want to show up and how you want to engage, that gives you a touchstone for being able to participate in that interaction. So know what you want, own your stuff, own your part of it, and how you want to show up, how you want to share, how you want to listen, how you want to participate. And also know that it's normal. This is hard and this is different. Love is not a leisurely activity. It is an activity that requires work and effort. So if you want support in that, I encourage you to reach out to a community. Develop a tribe if you don't have one. You're welcome to join mine. It's an Empowered Motherhood Journey on Facebook. And you can also reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. I do a free 20-minute session where we just connect and kind of see what's going on and how I might support you. So be well. I will talk to you all soon, and stay tuned for the next call where we dig in a little bit deeper on relationships with your little person. Talk to you later.